Well, the Eagles beat the Packers yesterday, and the Rams just beat the Vikings, which means the Eagles will host the Rams. And I'll get into that matchup in a little bit, but I want to touch on yesterday's game first. Going into that game, I thought it would be tough to sack Jordan Love, get pressure on Jordan Love. He was better at taking care of the ball. Eagles forced 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions against Jordan Love. One was in garbage time. The opening kickoff, they got the fumble. The Packers recovered it, but they ruled it. The Eagles recovered it. It was kind of weird. Ironically, I've been saying all season long that the Eagles force fumbles but never actually get on them. So it was good to see that bounce our way for once. Obviously, the offense struggled, and being there live watching the game, I don't usually, when the ball snapped, I kind of watch the quarterback, whether it's our offense or the other offense. So I don't really see the receivers if they're open or not. So I kind of wait till the next day to see the all 22, the total, situation, like the clear picture, see what's going on. Watching it live, I thought Hurts was having another game similar to the Carolina game where he just wasn't processing quick enough. He wasn't reading the field well, and there were guys open. And then the All 22 came out today, and I will say, Kellen Moore, you better get your head out of your ass, because some of these things that I'm seeing between, these screen passes that they run that never work, whether it's to Devontae or Saquon, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, it goes nowhere. It was a 3rd and 5 at midfield. They could have went for it on 4th down. They lose like 2 yards. They don't go for it. They're in the red zone. The Packers blitz twice. It's a man zone. And the Eagles run a screen. A screen is not going to work in that situation. I think I can count on one hand. By the way, I think it's only once that the Eagles ran a successful traditional screen this season. I don't know why it's so hard for them to run screens. There's plays where there's 2 guys in one part of the field. There's plays where guys are slow getting off the line of scrimmage, like they're not even looking for the ball. It's an RPO, like the offensive line thinks it's one play, the wide receivers think it's another one. We have the most dominant run game and the most dominant offensive line, and we barely ever utilize play action. This is something I've been begging them to press Kellen Moore about all year long, and it just makes me so mad. I don't know why they don't do it. This is like having Stephen Curry on your team, and instead of having him at the 3-point line to kind of drag the defenders out, you're having him in the dunker spot. It makes no sense. You should use the success of your run game to help drive your passing game, and it's never in sync or connected, and I don't know why. There's just countless other things. The zone read they run, it worked for a few plays. Other times, Jalen's running side to side. He'll take like a sack, he'll slide down. He doesn't want to get hit. Other games, he'll keep it on the QB draw, and it just won't be there. When Jalen said at the beginning of the year that this team doesn't have a consistent identity, he was 100% right. It was true then, it's true now. Kellen Moore in the passing game, and Jalen, by all means, did not have a good game, but it was better than I initially thought. I initially thought he was awful, but going back and looking at it and reading some of the threads and the videos some other content creators have made, he was not as bad as I thought, and Kellen Moore was worse than I thought. I don't care if your quarterback is Nathan Peterman. I don't care if your quarterback is Jamarcus Russell. When you're on a team like this that has this much talent at the wide receiver position and this much talent on the offensive line, running back, everywhere, it should never look like it's impossible to complete a pass. I mean, Jalen Hurts started 6 for 6 and then went like 0 for his next 8 or something like that. That should never happen. And by the way, it's pretty much clear that A.J. Brown is a bit more banged up than we initially thought when they ran that fake tush push into the go route on that 3rd and 1. I believe it was the 4th quarter or the end of the 3rd. It was definitely second half. It wasn't a good throw by Jalen, but you could see that AJ wasn't running full speed. He's clearly not healthy. Devontae has been banged up. I understand it's not going to be crisp and perfect, but it's got to look better than that, man. I mean, we've seen this at times before in the season, and they turned it on the next week. We saw it against Carolina, where it looked terrible, and Jalen looked terrible, and the next week against Pittsburgh, that's what y'all wanted to see, right? That's what we need to see every week. It's not just Jalen, but it's Kellen Moore. Everybody's got to be on the same page. The offense, if the offense continues like this, it's not going to win the Super Bowl, and it's got to be better. And it really shouldn't be like I can handle losing if you just get beat, but some of this is just plain stupidity. Like I don't know if they're making it too complicated or they're making it too simple, but it shouldn't be this hard to scheme guys open. So that's that. Glad to get out of the Packers game with the W. Unfortunately, suffered an injury in Kobe Dean's, a huge loss. I don't know what they're going to do to replace him. I mean, he and Bond were a great tandem this year. I'm guessing they give Trotter the snaps. We'll see. We'll follow that throughout the week. On to the Rams. Out of all the potential matchups, this is the one I wanted the most. The Eagles dominated the Rams. They just won. They're just better than the Rams at the line of scrimmage. They showed that when they went out to LA and beat them. The Eagles struggled versus the Bucs. I know a lot of people have like the Todd Bowles versus Jalen Hurts thing in their mind. The Eagles didn't have. I don't think they had Devontae or AJ in that Bucs game. They didn't play the Vikings this year. The Eagles usually play the Vikings well. I was confident against Sam Darnold, but this is what I thought would be the best matchup. Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He won a Super Bowl, but this is kind of a Super Bowl team, kind of like on the decline. They started 1-4 this year. Cooper Kupp, I don't know what happened to him. He's still good. Stafford doesn't throw him the ball anymore. I hope that continues. It makes their offense easier to defend. As for the Eagles' offense, this should be a game where you can control the line of scrimmage. This defense, this Rams defense, they have some good players, but they're not as good as the Packers defense. The Eagles should be able to completely control the line of scrimmage on both sides in this game. And honestly, I haven't checked the line yet. The Eagles should be favored by like 6.5, 7 points. I feel much more confident heading into this game than I did the Green Bay game. But the offense definitely has things to figure out. But I'm feeling confident in this game. We'll see the injury news throughout the week. Kobe Dean, losing him's tough. AJ, I don't know what's going on with him. It's a knee injury. He's reading books on the sidelines. He can read books. I don't care. The offense just needs to do better. So we'll see throughout the week. I'll probably post another video, maybe closer to game day. Maybe as more injury reports come out. But yeah, so far I like the Eagles' chances, and we'll keep an eye on things. So subscribe, hit that like button, give it a thumbs up, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.